All right. We're 1,000 episodes in and things are changing. You know, this is episode 1,001.
1002.
1002, sorry. and you know, there's new health things that come up.
We went from Coachella recaps to
washed up. Do you want to tell the audience why we're not in the studio tonight?
Yeah, you know, it's been a shitty Sunday.
Sports? What happened? Tell us about it.
I'm pre-gaming for a colonoscopy.
Oh, God damn it. We went from pre-gaming for weekend to a Coachella to pre-gaming for a fucking colonoscopy.
It is a very interesting experience.
You want to tell us about it or like what? Like
yeah, I mean, I'll give you high level. You basically don't eat all day.
Okay.
My procedure is early in the morning, but in the afternoon, you start taking these tablets, pills, whatever. You take 12 at 3 p.m., 12 at 7 p.m. And basically you drink water, you take it. I'm actually taking my last one in a minute. And it causes you to flush everything out.
Wait, you're going to take one while we're recording?
Yeah. I mean, I had my 12th one of my last dose right now. Here we go.
You're popping it? Oh my God. Okay. If you're just listening, he's popping it.
Yeah.
So what's the timer now? I feel like we just set off a time bomb. How long do we got?
We got 45 minutes.
Oh, shit. Okay. So you're not allowed to eat all day. You just clear out all day. And then what, tomorrow you go, do you have a concern or is this just a checkup?
It's the age. Like I'm 45. It's, you know, after James Vanderbeek passed of colorectal cancer.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people I know went and got them, and a lot of my friends have all gotten one in the last year or two anyways. And I think I felt like I was a little late to the party there.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to keep waiting. People are getting it younger and younger in terms of colonoscopy. I remember in my 30s, people said at 50 you get it, but now just because of what's happening, people are getting it a little bit younger. So I decided to just go for it.
So this is your first one.
First one, yeah. So you know,
so you're getting your V card taken. You're getting your cherry pop tomorrow.
So yeah, we're gonna knock on wood. Hoping everything's okay. But what's interesting is you find out like right on the spot. Like my wife did one too recently, and you literally find out on the spot. Like, hey, everything's clear bill of health, or hey, we want to test some things. I want to check it out, make sure you're good. So it's a pretty instant response from what I've gathered. That's good.
Cause there's nothing like that delay or like, you know, that like you get that weird, like, from the doctor when they're like in the middle of it. You're like, what? Like, well, we'll tell you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, that still could happen. I think you get a clear bill of health right away. If anything needs to be tested or whatever, I think that's when they'll kind of talk about next steps. Right. But dude, getting old sucks.
Yeah. I mean, my parents are in town and like, I don't want to put their business on blast. Everything's fine. But like, you know, they're always going for checkups and things. Yeah. And like, I'm just hearing, you know, the stuff that they're having to, you know, my dad has like a problem with his knee and stuff like that. And it's just like, there's just stuff. The other thing I will say is that have you ever done the pre-nuvo scan?
No, the only scan I've done is the calcium scan
for your heart.
I'm a little nervous on the pre-nuvo scan.
I know, but I feel like I have to do it. A couple of my friends have done it. I was just talking to a friend of the pod, Kevin Gold, about it. Yeah. But like, you know, I've had a couple of friends that have done it and everything's fine. And it just feels so good for everything to be fine. And then there's a couple of people we know that have like discovered things early that saved their lives.
Wow.
And, you know, I mean, I'm with you. You're way older than I am, but I am still, I'm still entering into the zone of like, fuck, I got to start doing all this like check stuff. And it just sucks to even think about.
I think that you addressed two of the biggest things. I remember in my 30s going to the doctor was really around like, you can't smoke cigarettes and you got to like chill on drinking. You obviously you don't drink too much and you stop smoking. So I feel like those are two big wins, which are pretty basic, but go a long way. And then I think the rest is really around diet and just activity. And that, as long as there's a tire, it sounds like you'll be pretty active.
Bro, I mean, that's the problem. It's like, I'm out here beating these tires. I'm in better shape, like no question than I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like there's no way anything's wrong with me. But I just have heard too many stories of like, there's sort of an acquaintance, I'm going to be real vague here, that like did one of these pre-nuvo scans and found like early cancer.
Yeah.
That would have been a big problem. Or my dad, we talked about this issue with my dad where he had a kidney cancer issue, but they just happened to discover it via something else. And found it really early. And it's just the difference of like something being nothing or being you're dead. And like sometimes that can be in like 5 years. Like it can be like such a short, I don't know. It's just scary to even think about, but I feel the need to like, I'm not sure I'm ready for the colonoscopy. I think I'm fine, but I need the pre-nuvo.
Pre-nuvo.
Props to you.
Yeah. I mean, there's also a lot of technology on the colonoscopy that's coming out. It's going to be a much different experience in the coming years. It's not going to be.
I'm going to try to make it to that. Yeah. I don't want a fucking GoPro up my ass or whatever they're doing. All right. Well, props to you, for being ahead of it.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you're with us for 1,000 episodes.
You start experiencing old age with us.
It's literally going to be like, we're going to be like episode 2037. My arthritis is rough today.
I got a knee replacement surgery.
Yeah, fuck. And you won't believe what Kylie Jenner's up to. Man. Holy shit.
Kylie Jenner and Clavicular's kid is grandkid.
Holy shit. Oh, I guess it'll be like Stormy, right? It'll be Stormy was seen at fucking Bird Streets. Okay, news? Or do you have any other? Is there anything else we need to catch up on?
The news I wanted to talk to you about was I asked Anand if he had listened to it on Wednesday, and he hadn't. But have you listened to Spencer Pratt on Joe Rogan?
So no, only clips, but I was very impressed.
Yes, that's the general. I haven't had time to listen to it, but I will. My next airplane flight, I will definitely listen to it. Curious how it seems like it's been very well received. Yeah, he is now in second on like the Poly Market, the Kalashis of the world. Yeah. The number one contender is Nithya Raman, who is a known socialist. She's, in the betting markets, at least, not the polls. She's the winner. So
she's in first place
in the betting market,
and he's in second.
Yeah.
Ugh. That is such like what politics is today. It's like, do you want a fucking ex-reality star, who's worried about the people, or do you want a fucking socialist Marxist? And like, those are your options. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I love Spencer. I think he probably was really well spoken on the pod. It sounded like it, but like, I'd rather not him be the option. But I also, you can't vote for a freaking socialist.
Yeah. The issue is the reason why I actually think it does, why he makes sense is because he is living exactly what just happened in the last 5 years in Los Angeles. And that is why he's an important person. His house burned down. He saw the city change. He grew up here. He's raising children here. And yes, is he relatable to everyone? No, but I think he relates to a lot of people. And I think the joke of him being this like dumb reality star is clearly changing. I don't know if it's changed enough people to become mayor, but I'll tell you what it does do is does put a lot of pressure on all the other candidates where you better start talking real stuff about changing this city, because the powers that be, and the powers that be are the people that make money, pay taxes in this city, send their kids to the local schools and participate in the local parks. Like everything right now is inferior in the city of Los Angeles. The streets are fucked, crime, whatever it may be. Like it's there's a lot of issues. And the fact here's half the battle. even if you don't actually get anything done, but you at least address it and accept it, it goes such a long way.
Yeah.
Like, I hear you. It's bad. We're going to help you change that. That's not what's happening with the other candidates. They're just deflecting and saying it's someone else's fault.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're totally right. And I hope that is the impact. I just, what I've seen, what we saw with Trump is that the other side's playbook became just everything not what he said. Yeah. Instead of being like, oh, there's obviously some issues here that people resonate with, but let's put them through maybe a more compassionate lens, or let's put them, in a mix with our policies. They literally just said, no, opposite of everything. And I just hope, and look, I'm not even dissing, to be honest, I have no problem with Spencer becoming the guy. It's just, I wish if we could zoom out for a second and let's say like go back 10 years and say, hey, your options are going to be Spencer fucking Pratt or a Marxist socialist. Yeah. It's like, isn't there anything in between? Do I have any other option?
But we were talking about that the last presidential election. Your options were Sleepy Joe, a guy heading into dementia, and a reality star circus curator. So I think if it's on the national level like that, why wouldn't it be on the local level? Right?
I know. It's just, that's what politics has become. It's just crazy.
Well, to be fair, politics is so ruthless and brutal. You need like crazy narcissist Hollywood people to be in it, because it's like,
I agree.
A regular person can't take the beating.
I agree. No, but that's just what's unfortunate is like, I mean, even seeing what happened to, was it Bloomberg who just like entered, was it Bloomberg?
Yeah. The last president.
Entered the presidential race, literally just got beat to shit and like dropped out right away.
Howard Schultz.
Yes.
Same. Good intentions came in, destroyed and out
in no time.
Got the fuck out of here.
It's just crazy. But I can't wait to listen to the episode. There was one clip specifically that was like a 10-minute YouTube clip where Spencer was just addressing kind of everything that was wrong and just like how messed up the homeless, not only the problem, but like why it is the way it is, or like why the fires happened, or why, and he seems to have like a pretty deep understanding of like logistically what happened. But I don't know. I mean, whatever. I'm all about it.
I think at the very least, what's going to happen is what Nick Shirley kicked off in terms of the whistleblower movement, and when it comes to fraud, I think that is going to become a huge part of politics going forward. And I think on the local level, the state level, and the federal level, there's so much fraud that politicians know about. And what's going to happen is if you're not helping solve that problem, I think you're going to get steamrolled. And I think you're going to also have no choice but to address it. And the problem is like on the federal level, I think Scott Bessent was talking about like 20% if you discover fraud.
Yeah.
That's a business.
Yeah. That's a huge business.
I mean, law firms and really smart people are going to start doing the math. If you're like Elon, who thinks it's a 1 trillion a year fraud.
Yeah.
Okay. Investors invest in TAM, the addressable market. Fraud TAM right now is so big. Everyone's going to get in the fraud business.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. If there was a million little Nick Shirleys running around because they're incentivized.
No, I think it's going to be the next YC batch. Is going to have, we have 18 startups focusing on military fraud, Department of Education fraud, this fraud, that fraud. I mean, they're going to tear down the deep state that they talk about. They're going to tear it down to the ground.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I hope you're right. And it's so like logical what you're saying. It's just, in my opinion, I don't know if this is controversial or not, but like, I just think that, what is alarming to me is that it seems once again like the other side, instead, like all of a sudden, a lot of protests erupted in Minneapolis, and there was ICE issues, and they were calling Nick Shirley racist. And like, instead of just being like, okay, hold on a second, this is obviously like a universal problem that the majority of people are concerned about. Let's repurpose that message. They just called them racist. Or they just say, yeah, but look at ICE. Or they just, and so anyway, I'm just complaining a little bit, but it's like, I hope you're right that these things expose what the real big issues are in LA and then obviously more countrywide. But I don't have a lot of hope with the way things have been going.
Well, yeah. And there's on the local level, there's some pretty big statistics to even talk about on the California level. A chart came out over the weekend. There's been a 15%, over 15% decline in public school or just school enrollment in general in the state of California. So that's
why do you think that is? Like, is that AI as well as people are finding alternatives, or what is that?
So there's probably a couple things. I think people actually have left the state 100%. Like, I think people thought that no one was leaving California. They have left. You're also reading about in Democratic states, liberal people tend to not have as much children as conservative people. And so if you just start playing out the math, so many liberal people in the state of California, I can't have kids in this environment. It spirals fast.
Right.
So like to do the math differently, in 10, 15 years, all the kids are going to be conservative because they're all come from conservative families.
It's the only people having kids.
Yeah, the only people having kids.
Yeah, it's going to be Elon's kids and then a bunch of conservatives.
Yeah, the people that are having 3, 4, 5 kids generally tend to be a little bit more conservative. And so you start seeing that. So I think there's like some statistical things about like people leaving the state. I think there's people just having fewer kids in the state of California. I think particularly in public schools, people are opting for other forms of education, homeschooling being a big one. We know for a fact in all the private schools, at least in Los Angeles that I'm aware of, have massive demand. Every single school is just tons of kids trying to get in, wait lists at every school. So people are finding a way to pay for these schools. And by the way, what you also don't know is a lot of these top private schools do have endowments for scholarships.
Yeah.
And so there is money if you don't have the money. So if you can figure it out and you could piece it together, you start looking at different options for your children. And that's mainly people in the bigger cities. When you go out to the suburbs, I'm sure if you looked at school enrollment in the suburbs versus like metropolitan areas, it's very, very different. But but the big issue is schools get funding by how many kids are in there. So you start, there was a statistic that said the LAUSD spends nearly $45,000 per child. Yeah. That's the same price of an elite private school in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And they're not getting the same education. So why not, if you want to be actually equal, like equal for equitable to all kids, you should go to the elite private schools in Los Angeles and San Francisco and say, you guys just run this. We'll pay you. You guys do the curriculum. You guys make sure all of these kids in Los Angeles are the best.
Right.
And we'll just pay for everyone.
Right.
Because you're already wasting the money. So fuck it. Why not give kids the best education?
Yeah.
So I'm all for that. I'm not trying to be like, I don't want to be an elitist and my kids get the best and not everyone else. I'm like, fuck it. It's $44,000 a year LAUSD is paying per student. Make it happen.
Right. Yeah, it's just so fucked. It's just so like, because once again, they would never do that because there's this, it's just all human error. Yeah. It's just all ego and emotion and all those things. But it's just when you start to see numbers like this, it's pretty shocking. Like numbers like this are not supposed to go backwards.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's across the country. It's just much bigger in certain states. Like California is just getting smoked. Yeah. But it's everywhere. I mean, everywhere is, I guess not everywhere. There's a couple states that are up.
Well, you know what the most shocking thing about this entire statistic that's happening where like there are states seeing growth in student population and some states seeing decline. And then you look at the rest of the world. So here's a stat that came out this week, which was insane.
Yeah.
If the UK joined the US
love this.
as the 51st state, they would be on a wage level 51st below Mississippi.
That is insane. If you ask me, if you just said, hey, UK 51st state, what ranking are they? I would say third.
Okay, so people in the UK thought they were seventh.
Even they shot a little low. They're like, well, we're not doing that well. 51st is insane. Like, that is just, picture that for a second. West Virginia, like, picture the state that
Mississippi.
has
just think
Right. But I'm just saying, like, picture the state that has the biggest stereotype of being like poor and, whatever.
Yeah.
Mississippi, West Virginia. I'm not saying it. I'm saying that's the sort of joke. And you're telling me that the UK as a whole is behind them?
Yeah. The other fascinating thing you'll like about this, guess how rich the richest person in Mississippi is?
Well, now net worth?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know now. Now I'm confused. 3 billion. I don't know.
Okay, so it's 9 billion, and then people believe in the UK the richest family is the royal family, and their value they believe is 40 billion. So
it's literally one family and then everyone else, and in the whole UK. I mean, bro, I just don't get how we're not taking a look at what happened there, and not like we have a lot of similar policies and things, or a lot of people that want similar policies.
Yes, I think the UK had this like enormous amount of guilt from world domination for too long. And
the royal family didn't. Those motherfuckers are just stashing cash.
Yeah. And I think the powers that rose through, growing up in the UK had this like enormous amount of empathy for all the world's people. And they just got taken advantage of. And
but we're doing the same thing.
I know, but I think, not to get into politics, but I think Trump is the right president for right this second in American history, because that's not his nature. So he whether it's border, whether it's wars, he's showing American dominance. Yeah. And I think that we forget the reason why people came to this country is because we were dominant at everything. And the moment we stop doing that, it becomes very, very difficult to regain the momentum. Like, how does the UK ever change at this point? They're fucked.
I know, dude. The problem is it's like a death spiral, because you keep blaming, the wealthy people, and you start to play the blame game just all the way down into the spiral. It's really hard to turn it around and say, no, hold on a second, let's be great. And to your point, and I don't even like the way I'm sounding on this episode because I'm just complaining a lot. So apologies, listeners. But my concern is Trump's almost out. There's a lot of people that are very, upset and not happy with him. Like, I wouldn't feel so sure that the next president is Republican. So to your stance,
definitely.
I think that it's good for what you're saying. This American exceptionalism is great, but time's going to run out. And I worry that the pendulum will swing to the other side, way back to this crazy sort of suicidal empathy is sort of what they call it.
I think potentially. I also think a lot more people have opened their eyes to what's really going on in Washington, D.C. And I think until the Democrats acknowledge it and say, yeah, you know what, we gotta drain the swamp too. And if that doesn't happen, I'm not so sure that they can regain power of the presidency. The House and the Senate, we're going to find out really, really quickly in the next 6 months whether they have any shot of those controlling both, and they potentially could. But I do believe there's enough people in the country now that we have great examples of decline of complete dominance and what that did to their societies, right? Like UK's society is it's fucked.
I mean, 51st is crazy.
To how do you recover economically right? Like, what policy can you put in to make UK a powerhouse in anything?
It's funny because actually today I was like around some people from London, and just hearing their accents, I just felt like they were like richer and higher class than me and than us. Yeah. And now they might as well be fucking hillbillies with Mississippi accents.
Well, the hillbillies have more money.
I know, the hillbillies are the elite. Like it's changing my perspective. Whenever I hear people from London or from, you know, the UK, I always feel like they're better than us. Now, absolutely not. But I agree. Look, I think that it's like the problem is, like I said, it's a spiral. When things aren't going well, you want to have even worse policies.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard. And part of, I will say, one of the things about Trump that is really unique is he'll fucking talk about how great America is right in the middle of everything else. Like they'll be like, what about the war? What about this? And he's like, man, America's great. We are on fire. We're the hottest shit in the world. Yeah. Like, you know, but I worry about the swing back from that. And there's this weird thing that's just empathy into suicide that is so popular. And I just don't get where it came from. And we're seeing it play out. And there's a lot of people not learning.
I think a lot of it is just guilt.
I think what are you going to do? I think
white guilt is real.
It is real. It's incredibly real. But the problem is when those sort of policies get put into place.
Guess who doesn't believe in any of this stuff? The ethnic people in this country.
What do you mean, like immigrants?
I don't think immigrants are empathetic to all those people. They're not.
Oh, right. But I think
only empathetic to themselves.
But I think that there's this sort of belief system that is sort of like our past is so fucked up that the only way to make it right is to destroy it first.
Yeah.
And I think people legitimately, like I think people even with a lot of power really buy into that narrative.
Yeah. And the issue is, like, here's another topic that we're going to touch on. It's a perfect segue. Is a few years ago, we on this podcast, we used to say that China was going to overtake the United States and be the global superpower. And this is when, like, I was traveling to China a lot. I was coming back. I was sharing stories of how much change was happening, how great it is. Yeah. And they've effectively shot themselves in the foot. So in 2021, China's GDP was 78% of the US. So like clear, like, oh shit, we're going. Today, 64%. Back to around 2017 levels. And obviously some of it is currency issues. Some of there's some, maybe some manipulation there in terms of how the numbers are viewed. But the general consensus is it's going down. It's not going up. We're exploding. They're struggling. And they're a perfect example of a society was on the verge of full dominance, and they shot themselves in the foot.
And in your mind, or maybe this is pretty much open opinion, like or agreed upon opinion, like, is that because of the sort of communist rule, government oversight? Like their most growth came from when they sort of adopted like capitalist policies, and then they turned on that really quickly. Like, is that what everyone thinks?
My belief is that they loosened the purse strings a little, let a lot of Chinese people get very wealthy. Yeah. They created a middle class, which was basically impossible to do anywhere else in the world. And then what happened was the really wealthy, powerful people started voicing their opinions on what the country should look like. And that's when they basically realized, like, we're not going to have a George Soros in China. We're not going to have a,
or Donald Trump. I mean, Trump is a guy who was just a celebrity, very outspoken about the country, became the fucking president.
And then I think the nail in the coffin of like all-time dumbest decisions is the one-child policy.
Yeah, they fucked up on that. Yeah.
There's just no people to rule. They're gone.
That's right. I mean, what a catastrophic fucking decision, man. You know what? It blows my mind. It really blows my mind that like up until this point, like as flawed as democracy is and sort of freedom, like it's won over everything else time and time again. Like you cannot tell people how many kids they have. You can't tell them what to say. You can't tell them if they can or can't get rich. Like time and time again, it proves to be the winner, which is pretty interesting because I see why as a society grows or a government grows or whatever, you'd want to start to have more controls. It gets scary, it gets insane. Like you want to have control over it. But time and time again, over policing leads to collapse.
It's incredible that in the Democratic Party, there's some very brilliant people, and former President Obama to be one of those. And he's not recognizing, and he's actually falling in line with the policies. Like if he kind of stepped out and said, hey guys, this is getting out of control, we need to reel back in. Otherwise we're going to end up like these countries. It's kind of shocking to me.
I think tinfoil hat, he's speaking for somebody.
Yeah.
Or a group of people. He's not as much of a bouse as we see him as.
Yeah. He's basically been paid for and he has to fall in line.
Well, I think that I don't know. I mean, this feels crazy to even say. I don't know why it feels so bad to diss Obama, but I feel like we view him as the ultimate leader, holy shit, top of the top.
Yeah.
And that everyone follows him. I think he has always spoken for the party. He was just really fucking good at it.
Yeah.
And I think, now he's continuing to speak for the party. I don't think he can really go out on a limb. I don't think he's ever done that. I don't think.
Well,
because he's definitely said some shit that I'm like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
You too. They got you.
Yeah. And to be fair, the most interesting thing about Trump and the Republican Party is the Republicans could lose the House and Senate in the fall.
Yeah.
But Trump didn't lose anything. It's like the thing is his power and popularity has not declined. It's his party, and the party, because they have their own opinions.
Yeah.
And the party and the opinion isn't and Trump are all different things.
Right.
And so I think what's going to happen in regards to the policies of the future, you need, even if it's on the Democrat side, a Trump type person to actually make policies that's protects America's best interest. And that might be sacrificing some things for some people right now. Think about the China one-child policy. The reason why they put it in is that they knew they were going to get overpopulated. And we were how do we feed these people? How do we provide healthcare to these people? Jobs, all of those things.
Right.
Instead, if they just let it play itself out and then they didn't control the entrepreneurs would have figured out how to feed them, how to give them healthcare, how to give them jobs. But they wanted to control everything.
Yeah.
There are parts of our society where politicians are trying to control everything, and it doesn't play out well. It never does.
Yeah.
You got to let things play out. And in playing out, there's going to be shit that's not good.
Yeah.
Things are going to get broken. And you just have to be okay.
Yeah. To be honest, I thought a few years ago when I was worried about China, I thought their strictness was going to be their advantage.
Yeah.
Which it's just funny. The reason why I'm saying that, we just talked on the last episode about being able to open our minds to being wrong and that stuff. But it's it looked at the time they want exceptionalism. They don't fuck around. They don't whatever. And we're over here playing games. Their TikTok is fucking science and technology. Ours is, girls shaking ass. I really sort of bought into the wanting to close it up and control it. And we're just seeing again, it's just wild. It's wild to think about. If you just trust that problems are going to create opportunity is going to get filled by people who want to make money, you're going to go on to the next problem, and that's going to work. And you just have to trust that is going to happen.
Yeah. I really do. And you have to have faith in your population. You have to have faith in your society.
It's just humanity. It's faith in the human fucking race, which I get it. If I was president, I'd be fucking lock the shit down. I don't know. It'd be so tempting to want to control, to want to do digital IDs and everyone know their crime history and get your jabs and just fucking do your shit. We don't know what this new COVID thing is. Everyone just get your fucking jab. All that shit. I get it.
Yeah.
But man, it's pretty cool that time and time again, letting people figure shit out is what works the best.
100%. It's crazy.
Crazy. Okay. What else? Nike? You want Nike? Yeah. Maybe Nike will figure it out. Fucking okay. So we've talked about Nike a lot on the show, and
to be honest, I don't even want to talk about them anymore. I don't even want to dunk on them anymore. I'm actually rooting for that company to turn around and be great again, but they can't.
I mean, this new ad. So they put up a fucking ad at the. Let me just say this. Look, they're showing all this stuff now. How everyone's buying in now. All these big, ballers are buying the stock. Now they did that before when Tim Cook bought it and everything. It just tanked right after. It didn't matter. Yeah. And look, I think Nike will turn around. Like, do I think Nike's dead? Like gone forever? Absolutely not. But like, it is a really good read on how things can go wrong. So when this happens, it seems like it tends to just kind of be L after L. They did a campaign for the Boston Marathon that said, runners welcome, walkers tolerated.
Yeah.
First thing, stupid, just stupid. Like, it's just when I first read that, dumb. But second, they got backlash for it and they took it down. So even dumber. It's like, if you're going to do something dumb, you at least gotta own it.
Yeah, the ad should be marathons are for non-fat people. Come run.
Like, fatties stay home.
Yes.
Nike.
Yes. Like literally, like winning isn't for everyone. It was it was literally, they had created the campaign a year ago that would have changed the trajectory of this company. Winning isn't for everyone. It's not. Marathons, as someone that's ran one, it is not for everyone. And yes, I walk a lot. I enjoy walking, but it ain't running a marathon.
Yeah.
It's just not. And we have to stop. And so now what they're calling it, which is even funnier, is pace shaming.
God damn it. This is what the critics are calling it?
Yeah, pace shaming.
It's like fat shaming, but fucking pace shaming. It's just all so stupid.
Yes.
Like, God damn it, man.
Here's my biggest fear for America. And I see it in the way some people are raising their children.
Yeah.
You have to have winners and losers.
Yes.
You have to teach people that if you work hard, you are going to be better than everyone and you're going to fucking win. Yeah. And if we don't do that, we become the UK.
Yeah,
really quick. And I don't want to be I want to teach my kids how to lose. You suck. You lost. It's fine.
Yeah. How do you treat it? Like that kind of?
Yeah. I mean, our kids win and lose all day, right? Against each other in sports. Early on, Dominic would have a very hard time with losing, crying after every game. And everyone would, kind of make jabs at him and say he's emotional. And then he grew a little older. He's 8. By the way, they were, saying that when he was 6, 7, crying. Right. And one of his coaches said, yeah, at least he cares.
Right.
Look at all those kids are eating candy. He's pissed.
Right.
So I think we encourage that emotion of winning and losing. By the way, when you win, you don't have to go show off and brag, but you should be proud of yourself that you won. You shouldn't have to feel guilty for winning. And then if you lose, it's okay to celebrate other people winning. And you know that, hey, if I want to win, I got to put in more effort next time.
Yeah.
Those are normal emotions. That's how we were all raised. But now we don't want to celebrate excellence because it creates a divide. It's not equal.
Yeah.
And I'm
that's UK shit.
That is UK shit. And it's seeping in our society. It is in there.
I feel like we started it. They just did it quicker. I mean, I feel like, to be clear, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like we pioneered.
Yes, I definitely think we pioneered it. And then there's enough people in America that push back on that and say, not for me.
That's right.
Not for me.
It's just scary. But I mean, look, this Nike thing is it's crazy to see. You can see it with smaller brands, bigger brands, I guess some celebrities. It's like, there's kind of this thing where like sometimes when brands are on this trajectory where it feels like they can do no wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like everything they do is just so well received and they just cannot make a mistake. And then there's times when it feels like they just can't do right to save their life.
Yeah.
And that just feels like where Nike's at right now. Whoa. It's like, bro, you got to, at the worst, if you're going to, like I said, if you're going to do your shitty campaign that like just doesn't really, it's shitty because it doesn't make any statement.
No.
Right? So it just kind of lightly shames walkers, but like you're still welcome. So it's just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And then, but to pull it down is just like, come on, dude. Just L after L.
I find it to be disgusting.
Like that. Yeah, I think it's just, once again, it's funny to see a brand that was once literally top 3 American great brands could do no wrong, just tripping over themselves.
Yeah.
Every day. Okay. Okay. How about this? I mean, am I reading this right? Good news for me, right? Tattoos are just hot. They're just normal now. Everyone's just got tattoos.
So the thing is that it says, so the headline is 56% of adult Gen Z women have at least one tattoo. And then you start breaking down and it starts looking like, I don't know, probably like potentially half the population, close to half the population, 40 to 50% looks like the range, has tattoos. Does that make it counterculture anymore?
No. That's over.
That's over.
That is long gone. You have none, right? You still have none?
Yeah. So I'm part of the counterculture.
That's right. You're an anarchist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over. It's fucking wild. I mean, as a guy with a shitload of tattoos, I remember when I first got my first tattoo, especially below the arm sleeve.
Yeah.
I just thought to myself, because of the way I grew up, like, okay, like this is a moment. This is a moment where you're going, like, I don't know, like maybe you won't be able to get a job one day, or I don't know what the fuck, but like it just all of a sudden you're the tattoo guy.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't, I don't think there's probably hardly any jobs. I mean, what jobs still wouldn't hire you if you have a tattoo?
No, I don't think anything.
Right. It used to be when I grew up, like you couldn't even get a job. The thought was you couldn't get a job bagging groceries if you had a visible tattoo. Now I don't think they'll hire you if you don't have any tattoos. And it is just, it's washed. It's over. I mean, it's not cool anymore.
It's interesting. So if you start just looking at the trends of like trad wife, have kids, no tattoos, we're basically going back to the 50s.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a trad wife with no tattoos is like finding a unicorn. I mean, good luck. Yeah, it's over.
Oh, that's interesting. It's so fascinating how like the way like how trends are all so cyclical. Everything always comes back. We used to think even just a few years ago during COVID, we thought, oh, no one's going to do this again. No one's going to do that again. No one's going to do this. Everything came back, roaring back.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm really interested in this trend of like, and I want to be careful here so I don't get in trouble. Like, it seemed like the coolest thing in the world, like 5 years ago or more, was to be like a boss babe.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's not cool, and I hope no one fucking yells at me. But what I am saying is like, I wonder if I'm seeing just more and more momentum about like trad wife life.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just my fucked up algorithm, you know, because it knows I'm single and it's preying on me. But it seems like there's more and more like almost like women influencers sort of taking pride in like being a good wife. And having those qualities, maybe more so than like being a boss babe. Yeah. And I just could see like that becoming a thing that's like valued.
Oh, it's
sort of how boss babing was.
Yeah. I mean, there was statistics that I forgot what age group of women identify with trad wife more than girl boss. Like,
right. And they're like proud of it.
Yeah, and we talked about it, I think, an episode or two ago. I think it's more of a function of just like the economic realities of what's happening right now. And I think that's also a trend. Like it'll also go back the other way at some point, right? Like I don't think it's permanent. I think right now, specifically for young people, inflation has really had a major impact on their daily life. The cost of living is just too high. And so I think in order for things to change, you need to either have higher wages or, you know, some sort of deflation somewhere.
Right.
And that's just not happening anywhere. And then you add the level of social media pressure of like, I got to go do all of these things.
Right.
And I got to be at these places. it becomes, I mean, social media has so much pressure that Coachella Weekend 2 is hot now.
Bro, Coachella Weekend 2 looked like it was on fire. I might watch the Biebs' second performance tonight on YouTube. I might go back and watch the stream. He brought out Billie Eilish. It was a whole thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, just the pressure's on for everyone trying to do everything. And I think if that's the case, then economic realities of like, shit. I mean, even the idea, forget about working or independent. It's like the idea of being with someone is back to being relevant again. There was a time where the whole idea was just be independent. Don't be with anyone. Go live your life. The cost of living is too high. You have to.
Yeah, you got to shack up. Yeah, you got to team up.
But by the way, both sides need to do that.
I totally agree. But I will tell you, this is just obviously my anecdotal what I'm hearing. But like this girl did, the other day I was talking to this girl who's 30. And it was just like a "what'd you do today" type of situation. And she said, "Oh, I did this, that, and then I made cookies. Oh, it's so trad of me." And I was like, "Huh."
I was like a cookie.
right. Like I thought, like making cookies and like I don't know. I just thought that'd be like something you'd be proud of, but it was almost like in like an embarrassing tone because she was so trad.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like I don't know. My wife falls more in the trad wife category, but like she likes to garden. There's certain things she likes to do, and that made me care. Yeah, but like I think a lot of people are into it. My kids like to garden. I don't know. Are they trad wives? No.
They're trad kids.
Trad kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Your kids play sports and fucking garden. They're trad kids.
They're trad kids.
Yeah. If they were like experimenting with different identities and had blue hair, they'd be modern kids. You have trad kids.
I have trad kids. I definitely have trad kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The big news, big blockbuster news.
Are you getting any money?
I don't. I'm going to go look and ask. We really reduced imports.
Yeah, this feels like a little bit of like COVID disaster relief here. I wonder if I'm getting any money.
Well, you better find out because tomorrow the Customs and Border Protection launches at 8 a.m. Eastern time the electronic processing of the refunds of tariffs. There's $127 billion. 82% of companies seem to be eligible by like the first kind of look at it. I'm very nervous about the fraud that could potentially come from this.
Oh, yeah.
There's always fraud when the government's handing out money. But I do think if you ran a business and you've imported goods since last April, you better get on this site before that money runs out.
I can't wait. I just cannot believe that the government runs like a fucking yogurt shop sometimes. Like the fact that it's like, let's do these tariffs on everyone, on all imported goods, and then no, not legal, give the money back.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. And now you got to build a portal and people got to sign up and fucking collect your money. It is so crazy. And the fraud is going to be through the roof. We'll get Nick Shirley in here.
Here's my way that I would actually give it back if I was running this. If anyone from the federal government is listening, I would go to all the businesses and say, it's credit on future imports.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's
simple.
It. That's it.
We're not handing out cash.
No.
Go import more goods. We'll put an allowance on your account. Yep. When you get it, boom, done. You get to keep. You don't have to pay tax on it. Encourage more buying of goods.
I couldn't agree more. I would just imagine that probably legally there's something where like, look, if you had a business and it went bankrupt and so you're just no longer importing, you still paid an illegal, fee. I would just imagine. I agree with you 5 trillion%, but I would imagine that's the issue. But man, that's such a better way to handle it. And I would also be equal, to be honest, I'd probably be more pumped on that. Don't make me go through this whole process and, take the cash and then whatever, like just credit me. It'll be so great for your margin, for this year.
Yeah.
Just get a little margin gift.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just crazy to me that it's this wild. It's like, and it's also partly Trump and the way he acts, but this would happen. There's versions of this under other administrations as well. But the fact
it's just
that it's
generally
like,
the way the government runs, sloppy.
Exactly. but like, fuck it, 120 billion. And then like, nah, we'll give it back. Crazy. How you feeling? How's the stomach?
Yeah, this is about it, guys.
Okay. Let's fucking end before that office gets blown up.
Yeah. There's a comment on YouTube. Been here a long time. Congrats, boys, from @RecShop. Shout out from Suhel. Late, but wanted to congratulate the guys on 1,000 episodes. Been listening since 2018. Thank you for all the laughs and wisdom over the years, especially D, who has always been incredibly selfless with his time and resources. Best event was that early one at the Shopify office. Best pod moment was when Bezos and Lauren Sanchez flirty text leaked and D came up with Amazon-themed porno titles, Prime Time, the package that always delivers.
Yeah, that was
will never be topped. Much love and looking forward to the next 1,000. Amazing.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Shout out. And good one. I wanted to make fun of you there for how nice that shout out was to you, but that was some of your best work. So you deserve it. Okay, shout out.
All right.
We're out of here. Good luck tomorrow, D. Hope you get an instant clean bill of health.
Thank you.
And everyone have a great week.
All right, guys.
Peace.